Okay guys, we have a little bit of a unique one here. We have a chip right here that's cracked down this way, this cracked over to the edge, and this cracked up to the edge. But we have a chip or a crack right here, and we're going to see about filling it. So of course I have to pop a chip, and there we go. Had it on the wrong side. So I've got to pop a chip in this one. And we're going to go, I think, 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the chip. From the end. That's all the further we're going to go today. Farther we're going to go. And like I said, with this new drill, I have to be careful because it does drill much faster than my other drill did. We're going to see if I can pop this chip. Come on, where is it? Without wallering it out. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to sure try. And I really can't be in a position for you to see. Beautiful, see that? Perfect little bullseye chip. That's what we want. I've just learned exactly how deep to drill to get the result that I want. And 99% of the time it works beautifully. Okay, the line's already at the chip, so we don't have to push on the glass. I do want to push on the glass here, though. There we go. This line was not connected all the way to the surface right here, as you saw. I pushed on the glass and opened it up, and voila. We are now connected. Okay, before I get carried away, let's put some stuff away. Let's get... This little metal ruler is so convenient, guys. It's linked in the description with all the other tools that I use. And I try to keep it in this little plastic sleeve, but sometimes it gets frustrating trying to get it to go back in there. I love this little thing. You know, I carried around just a piece of whiteboard for the longest time. Just a piece of, you know, a blank business card with lines on it. And that was okay, but it wasn't as convenient as that ruler. That ruler is amazing. So we're going to start by filling this one. And of course I told him all the risks of doing a crack repair, that there is a possibility that when you go to pop a chip at the end of the crack, that it could crack farther, or it could just go clear across the windshield, or whatever the case may be. And of course he accepted all the risks. And the way I explain it to people is this. Excuse me. I'm starting to get a little bit of a cold, I think. This crack, so this crack's not going anywhere. It's done. This crack right here, it's finished. This can still crack. This can still crack. This can still crack. And this crack can take off and go anywhere it wants to on the windshield. So at this point, you already have to replace your windshield. And they go, yeah? 9 drops. And I go, so, if it cracks, you're no worse off, because whether it cracks now, or cracks a week from now and goes clear across your windshield, you're still going to have to replace your windshield. And they go, yeah? Okay, so that's the chance you're taking when I'm doing a crack repair, is the possibility that it could crack while I'm doing the repair. But whether you replace your windshield now or a week from now, you're still probably going to have to replace your windshield. And once they see the logic behind that, they're like, okay, let's fix it. But something else I do that I don't know if you do or not is I will tell them the price, and then I will tell them to check the price of their windshield. God, it's just warm. I cannot believe that it is this warm this time of year. I mean, I got to take my jacket off, guys. It's just too warm. So I tell them to check the price of their windshield and then determine from there if it's worth doing the crack repair or not. So his windshield runs about $500. So for him, it's worth doing the repair. Because for this small of a crack and 2 chips, there's another chip on the other side of the windshield over there, and for this small of a crack, I'm only charging him $100. I'm in a good mood today. So because I'm in a good mood, I'm charging less money. I've even done 3 chip repairs for 20 bucks each, just because I'm in a good mood today. And I like to give people breaks once in a while. You know, it's nice to be able to give somebody a break. Now, I can't do this all the time because obviously that would, you know, I'm not making enough money when I do that. When I charge $20 for a repair, I'm not making enough. 10 drops. So because of that, I can't do it very often, but I would love, I've said it before, I would love to be able to do free repairs for elderly and homeless and things like that. And I think that would be amazing. You're going to tell me this isn't going to seal on there? It better seal on there. It sealed somewhat. It's leaking out of the crack down there at the bottom. Let's find our little crack fill tool here. Yeah, it's not sealing good enough for me at this stage. I don't like that. That was a pretty big pit break, and apparently I didn't get it quite. I didn't think that my tool was going to have such a difficult time sealing on there. So I didn't bother to check it first. There we go, we're sealed. Mostly sealed. Sealed good enough anyway. Alright, we're getting out the little cheap tool. You know what this is for. Yes? So I always fill this one from the bottom, because I can see the air coming out of it as I'm filling it up. And because I've got the chip shaded, I can shade my tool while I fill it. So we're going to start right here. Hopefully you can see that filling. I'm just pushing up on the glass enough to open the line. And yeah, I'm shaking a little bit because I'm hypoglycemic. My blood sugar's a little low right now. So I'm shaking a little bit. That's the first sign for me that my blood sugar's low and I need to eat something. The second sign is when I start getting nauseous. Let's move that out of the way for a second. See if we can open this up. Just resin to start flowing up this line. I think the cup is almost in the way there. So this little umbrella that I'm using is fantastic because I can just carry it around with me when I'm going business to business, and that's what I'm doing today. Just going business to business, talking to customers, talking to people, saying, hey, just popped in, thought I'd see if anybody's got a windshield chip they need fixed today, and this gentleman was like, I have a crack. And I'm like, let's take a look at it. And I gotta tell you, when you're out going business to business like I do, and you come across something like this, sometimes it's just nice to just take the job. You know, take the job and do it. because I'm not going to make any money sitting on my ass at home. And at least this way, I'm making $1. So, what would I rather do? Sit at home and complain that I don't have any money? Or go out and find some work and give some people some discounts on the work and just continue on that way? Or, you know, the choice is yours, obviously. It's your choice. I would rather be out making money. So I go out and go business to business, do what I need to do. And like I said, I'm only charging him $100 for this repair. And I'm sure you've seen me do already chip repairs where I've used a lot more resin than this and only charged $35 for the repair, and used a hell of a lot more resin than what I'm using right now. So I don't mind only charging $100 for the repair, because like I said, you have to make a decision. Do you want to put that money in your pocket, or do you want to stay broke? I'd rather put that money in my pocket. That way I have it. So again, you know, crack repairs are never completely invisible. And I told him that as well. I told him it's not going to be completely invisible. It'll be a lot less visible. It just won't be completely invisible. And I'm sure glad I carried my umbrella around with me today, because I needed it, and I didn't know I needed it. But I needed it for this particular repair. Okay, let's get this one off the glass. Let's see if we can get this one to be just a tiny bit less visible. There we go. Alright, let's empty this out, clean it off. I can't believe there's still honeybees flying around. Go on, honeybee. Go on. Go on, dude. This isn't a flower. Go away. Don't make me hurt you. It's not a flower. I love honeybees, but I don't want them messing around with me. Let's get this taped off. Then we'll move the umbrella and allow it to cure while we fix the other chip over there. And it's really good if you can be completely open and honest with your customers as well. You know, let them know the purpose of the crack repair is to fill the crack in so it can't crack anywhere else, or so that it doesn't go any farther, because you pop that little chip at the end. And let them know that there's a chance that when you pop that little chip, it could crack farther. But you're good at what you do, and you doubt that'll happen, but it's always a possibility. But then on top of that, you have to let them know it's not going to be invisible. I've seen videos of people doing crack repairs, and it looks like it's invisible when they're done, but it's never really invisible. You can always see a hint of the line, just like when you're doing a chip repair. You're always going to see the ghost of the repair no matter what you do. You're always going to see that ghost. I know what you're thinking, and you'd be right. I did forget to tape this line right here. You would be correct. I know what you're thinking, and you would be correct. Okay, so let's get the umbrella off of this side. That suction cup really holds really well. So I'm not closing the door all the way because that's why. The car locks if you close the door all the way. The car will lock itself. So let's put this up here. Perfect. I could have shaded that one with my body most likely, but we're going to do it this way instead. Mirror. And we're going to drill this one out just a tad, just a hair. So I only use this on number 2. I don't go any higher than number 2 on this drill. What some people don't realize that I learned in construction is that unless you're using a high-speed drill bit, all you're going to do is dull your bit faster by running it at higher speeds. That's what I loved about those little drills, was that even on top speed, it was the perfect speed for that drill bits. It was the perfect speed. But I just don't like the fact that I have to buy a new drill every 3 months because the batteries just will not maintain a charge after a few months. So I don't like that. This one I've been using for quite a while now and haven't even had to charge it. So I'm really happy about that. Alright, we have the chip covered so that it can't cure before we're done. So we don't have to rush the process here. Again, guys, everything I use is linked in the description. So, including the suction cup and the umbrella, all the tools, the drill, both drills actually. I've linked both drills in the description. So you can still choose which one you want. If you like the little drill, that's great. That's awesome. I have no problem with that. I really liked those small drills, but like I said, so the windshield is cool to the touch. It's warm out here, but it's warm enough for me to take a jacket off, but it's not warm enough for the glass to be warm to the touch yet. So I'm using the CR resin. And that chip is virtually filled already. Look at it. See it in the mirror? You can't even see the chip anymore at this stage. It's already pretty much filled. So that's one of the reasons I like to drill, is because it allows resin to flow so much easier. And when you can make a chip almost invisible just from putting resin in the tool, you know you've done good, because that is a beautiful thing. Now we're going to pull a vacuum on this one. I don't see any air going back into it, so yeah, it's pretty much full now. Now we'll go ahead and pressurize it again and watch it disappear the rest of the way. Oh, that's such a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing, my friends. I love my job. I don't know if you could tell that. Well, no sense needing the umbrella at this stage of the game. We'll go ahead and move that, let that cure in the sun under pressure, because that's an enclosed chip. There's no lines in it, so there's nowhere for the air to go. So you pressurize it and then you cure it. And that just helps it, keeps the air pockets from showing back up again. That's all that does. Just keeps the air, you're compressing the air down to practically nothing. Well, I wonder how cured this is. Probably not cured enough yet. So even though it's warm out here and the sun's shining bright, the UV is not as strong. The UV is just not very strong at this stage. I got fingerprints all over the inside of this glass. We have to clean that. I told this gentleman, I said, when I came out and looked at it, I told him at first, I said I charge $10 an inch to fix a crack plus $35 because I have to pop the chip at the end. And I charge for that. That's a skill that you should be being paid for. And I said, so it's $10 an inch plus $35. And then when I came out and looked at it, I was like, dude, I said, I can probably take care of this whole crack for you and everything for $100. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, even though you're a doctor and you probably make 4 or 5 times the amount of money I do, I'll be nice today. I like to give people breaks. And he just laughed. And he was like, well, I do have a lot of student loans. And I said, yeah, I get it. I understand. I said, but, you know, everybody just assumes you're a doctor, you got to have money. And he goes, yeah, I know. He says, but you see my car, it's a Jetta. And I said, right? So, and it's 2014, it's not a new one by any means. And I said, I see that. But yeah, it wouldn't matter if it was a doctor or an attorney or, you know, whoever. When I'm in the mood to give people a break, I give them a break. That's just the way I am. When I'm in the mood to be nice to somebody and give them a break on the price, that's what I do. And I don't care who they are. If a homeless person living in their vehicle walked up to me right now and said, could you repair my chip in my windshield so it doesn't crack, I'd absolutely do it right now, because that's the mood I'm in. And that crack repair, my friends, looks amazing. He's going to be very pleased with that, I do believe. Why is my razor not razoring? Yeah, that's a really good repair. I need to put a little bit more resin on that pit. Can't even see where I popped the chip down here and filled in this crack. I love it when a plan comes together. Now again, it's not completely invisible. But what you and I see is different from what the customer sees. Because we're trained to see the flaws in the glass, and they are not. So he asked me how long this would take, because he has to go to an appointment. And I said, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes maybe, depending on how smooth things go. So I don't know how long this video's been going, but that's how long it's taken to do the repair so far. Oh my goodness. Get a little bit of extra resin in this one, that thicker resin. And yeah, I'm going to ruin a business card, but so what? This works better than using using my razor, because it doesn't leave quite so much junk around the windshield, around the chip. And there we go. All we got to do is let that cure in the sun, or I'll hit it with the light, depending. And most of the time what I can do is just wipe that resin right off that business card, and I can reuse that. We're going to reuse it. Somebody's going to get a resin-filled business card. This one should be cured enough to remove the deal there. Beautiful, beautiful repair, ladies and germs. Another beautiful repair. When you really enjoy your work, it's not work. It's really not. To me, this isn't work. This is hobby, or a passion, if you will. I just really enjoy being able to do repairs for people. When you find something you're good at, regardless of what it is, you really need to just go for it. So I was really good, really good tree climber when I was a kid. I could climb the unclimbable trees. In other words, there was trees in the park and things like that that nobody could climb. Nobody. And I was that kid that was like, here, hold my beer. And I would climb the trees that nobody else could climb. That's just how I rolled. And when I got older and took on some jobs doing tree trimming, I realized I was very, very good at trimming trees. So I started my company. And I did that for 32 years. I had a passion for it. I was good at it. I loved the work. And then when I broke my hip and I needed work, I contacted a buddy of mine who had a windshield business, and he taught me the basics of doing windshield chip repairs. And I was very good at it, but I was better than he wanted me to be, because he kept telling me I was taking too long. You don't need to fill all the lines, as long as you get some resin in the lines to, you know, keep it from expanding and stuff. Old school thinking. Of course, that was 20 years ago. Well, then when I moved over here to Utah, and I was sick, I moved over here when I was sick. I was having a lot of medical issues at the time. And I took an at-home job, and after 4 years of sitting at home, never being able to go outside, never being able to ride my motorcycle, you know, just stuck in the house basically. I felt like I was in prison. I was ready to not exist anymore. And one day my boss sent me an email saying, we're going to change this, and we're going to change that, and we're going to change this. And I said, good luck, find somebody else to do my shit. I'm out. And I honestly thought, you know, I should just buy some equipment and start my tree service up again. And, you know, here in Utah, because I come from Colorado, I thought I should just buy some equipment and start up my tree service here. And then I realized I'm old. I was 55 at the time. And I thought, you know, I'm old. I'm not too old to climb trees and do tree service work, but I am too old to feel that pain all day long every day, because it does wear you out. So I thought, there's something else I can do, I just don't know what. And then I remembered I can do windshield repairs. So I started my company. And before I did my first customer, I went to a junkyard and I brushed up on my skills, and I started thinking there has to be a way to make chips look better than what they are. There has to be a way. So I started practicing and learning more techniques and stuff like that. Developing my skills. I have a passion for it. And I just continued that way until I was ready to take on my first client. And if I ran into a windshield chip that I had never seen before and wasn't quite sure how to repair it, I would tell the customer, I don't know if I can repair this chip. If you want me to attempt it, I will, but I can't make any promises. Or you can give me a couple of days so that I can go find one in a junkyard and practice on it and figure out what I need to do to be able to repair this chip correctly for you. Most of my customers were like, you know, take your time. I would rather have it done correctly than have it crack later on down the road. And I fully agreed with that. So I would go to a junkyard and I would find a chip virtually identical to the one that I had seen a couple days prior. And I would try and practice on, and I would have ideas in my brain of what I needed to do, but then I would practice. And then I would find another chip virtually identical to that, and I would practice on it. And I would do that 4 or 5 times or 6 times until I knew that I could do an accurate and complete repair for the customer, and then that's what I would do. So remember that if you want to be really good at something, you have to practice. That's all there is to it. Alright, my friends, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Hit the I keep saying that. Give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share the video, and throw me some love. I was going to say give me a thumbs up, click the like button. It's the same damn thing, and I don't know why I keep saying it that way. But anyway, hit the subscribe button, share the videos. You know, if you're not subscribing, I'm never going to get up enough subscribers to be able to do free repairs for the homeless and for the elderly. So please hit the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you in my next video.